And she was locked up in a cabana there for 17 days, last 17 days of her life. And her mental condition worsened every single day.
Yeah.
By her last day, she had lost 40 pounds.
What's up, guys? If you're not, he was into it.
Sure.
Right? So
Sure.
I'm trying to psychologically, it's hard because I've never been a part of that, but I'm trying to psychologically put myself in a person like that shoes and wonder if I actually would recognize how many people think we're a joke versus if I'm Miscavige and I'm just Miscavige and I'm just crazy and obsessed on power. I may know it and not care. You know what I mean? Like this, you think the senior level people, they all know it?
Miscavige knows.
Yes,
And,
yes, I would agree with that.
There was a really tragic death at the Fort Harrison Hotel back in 1995. Lisa McPherson was a woman who was a devout Scientologist for many, many years. She had just attested to the state of clear. And like a month or two later, she was having a mental breakdown, and she got involved in a little fender bender accident right outside the Fort Harrison Hotel. And when the paramedics arrived on the scene, she had taken off all of her clothes and was walking down the street naked. And this female paramedic comes up and says, "Why are you doing this?" And she said, "I need somebody to pay attention to me. I need help." And they took her a couple blocks away to the Morton Plant Hospital. And she was checked in there. And within an hour, 10 Scientologists showed up at the hospital and convinced her to check herself out against the doctor's wishes. And these 10 people took Lisa back to the Fort Harrison Hotel. And she was locked up in a cabana there for 17 days, last 17 days of her life. And her mental condition worsened every single day.
Yeah.
By her last day, she had lost 40 pounds. And she was so weak, they panicked. Rather than calling in a doctor or calling an ambulance, they put her in a van and they drove her to a hospital, but not Morton Plant 2 blocks away, not another 5 different hospitals that were closer. They drove all the way over to a hospital where there was a Scientologist doctor on call.
God.
And by the time they got there, she was dead. And this doctor, Dr. Minkoff, who had been like prescribing medication without seeing her, he was freaked out. "Why'd you bring her here?" You know? And of course, Scientology did this major cover-up where they, when the police, found out about this, the person who was in charge of this at that point was the real second in command, Marty Rathbun. Mike was like the third in command for Office of Special Affairs. But Marty whisked all the people who were watching over her out of the country. And they started doing what they could to clean up the situation. There were people who were watching over Lisa every single day.
Doing what? Like security guard, basically?
Well, L. Ron Hubbard has his own theories because psychiatry, of course, is evil.
Oh, God.
So he has his own method that he developed called the introspection rundown or baby watch. So what L. Ron Hubbard said is if you're having a psychotic break, which they would never use that term, but if you're in this condition, people should not be talking to her. So even if she's like talking to you, asking questions, begging for help, you don't respond. She has to have absolute silence. Anything you might say in a situation like that when she's screwed up, that could cause more implants,
This is sadistic.
more engrams. So, you can't say a word. And there were people who were put on the baby watch who didn't even speak English, so they didn't have to worry about saying a word to her. I met one of those people Sorry, just a couple of months ago, I met one of the guys who said, I had just come to the country like a month earlier and I didn't know any English at all. And they had me watching over her. But the people who did speak English were writing down logs of her condition every single day. And you could see her condition getting worse and worse and worse.
She's
in these
losing
logs.
40 pounds and 17. I mean,
Yeah.
my God.
But she's also, becoming increasingly demented. She's barking like a dog. She thinks she's L. Ron Hubbard herself. She's smearing her feces on the wall. They're forcing medication down her throat with a turkey baster.
What were they giving her again?
Exactly what medicine she was on, I don't remember. You'd have to search that up. There's a couple other doctors who were involved. There's a female doctor who was prescribing a lot of this medication, and she was not licensed in Florida at all to be doing any medical work.
And what was her condition again from the very beginning of the story when they first took her there? Was she already a little manic?
Yeah, she had been having some psychotic break at that point, and that's why she was saying I need help. And unfortunately, the Scientologists, including her boss Benetta Slaughter, and some other people like Mary DeMoss, who was featured in a lot of my videos. She came out on the street to handle me quite often, and she was my favorite of the Scientologists because she was always...
To handle you?
Yeah, she was always brilliantly bizarre.
You ever let her take advantage of you?
No.
No?
Okay. I did ask her out. I said... I said, let's have dinner. Let's go to the movie. We're both actors. I thought it'd be wonderful.
I'm going to fuck the Scientology right out of you.
Anyway, so these circle of her friends, her peers, said, you can't be here. They're going to put you in a psych ward. Nothing could be worse than having an evil psych doing horrible things to you, electroshock, and who knows what they're going to do, but they're evil. So, she came back with them to the hotel, and that was, the end of it for her.
That's insane.
Anyway, I forgot exactly why I got
You were bringing this up because we were going through your course to getting into really going up against Scientology. So you got involved after this happened.
Yeah.
What went down there?
Yeah. At that point, in the beginning of 2000, Bob Minton, who was the retired international banker who had spent about $10 million helping people abused and defrauded by Scientology, he decided to open up the Lisa McPherson Trust in Clearwater.
She's been dead for several years now.
She had been dead for 5 years.
Right.
But much of this wasn't publicly known for a few years until there was a trial. So there's a criminal trial brought that a lot of this evidence came out. And then there was a civil trial that Bob Minton was bankrolling for the family. And we started the trust. There were 4 of us to begin with who were working down there, moved down there. I was in charge of the multimedia. So I was videotaping, I was creating videos and putting up our website, things like that. This was the most fascinating time of my life. To be invited there, to be part of this bizarre situation where these Scientologists were going just nutso in front of my camera. After a couple of years of them looking goofy on my camera, they realized, we should stop doing this.
Not a good look. Yeah.
Yeah. So after that, it became kind of dull. They didn't want to say anything anymore. But anyway, that's around when I got started. In 1999, back in LA, I started doing videos. The first one that I shot was when 2 Scientologists came to my home to picket me. I call that the revenge picket.
It's a short picket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And really short because I went out there with my camera and I started interviewing these guys.
Were they on your property?
They were out at the edge of the driveway.
So could you shoot him?
Well, I wasn't going to shoot. I shot them with the
I
camera.
was trying to get him to say, well, I could have.
I shot them with the camera, and that was plenty powerful. That morning, they had leafleted my entire neighborhood because I got a call from a neighbor saying, "Are you Mark Bunker?" And I said, "Yeah." She said, "I'm supposed to beware you." And she
Like
had
a dog, beware of dog.
Yeah, beware your neighbor. Mark Bunker is not who you think he is.
That needs to be your campaign slogan, beware the bunker.
Okay.
Oh, come on.
It's a little too late. I've got everything printed up already.
Let's do it. Come on.
So I knew, they had warned everybody that I was a dangerous individual, but at the bottom of it, they actually put in fine print that they were the Church of Scientology. And when people see that, they go, "Oh, well."
Right.
So we got a big laugh out of that. And there was a policeman who was living in the house above me. And I told him, "Listen, it's possible. I don't think it's likely, but they're picketing people at their homes now, so they may come and picket me here." And as I'm talking to him, I look out the window, and these two guys had shown up with big signs.
And this was a cop?
This was a cop.
And he wasn't loading the shotgun like,
No,
be my pleasure.
No one's shooting at them, okay? In none of my stories will Scientologists
Not
be
on
shot
my lawn.
Anyway, so I'm talking to these guys, trying to have a pleasant conversation with them, and within 3 minutes, I bring up Xenu, and one of the guys was not on that level, so he started walking away. It was like bizarre that there were security guards in Clearwater who would be following me with their camera, and I could say 75 million years ago, Earth was known as Tegiak, and they would put their fingers in their ears
Oh my God.
and run away. What kind of security is that?
Not brainwash security.
I mean, it's amazing. So it was a fascinating time. And after a couple of years of that, well, there you go. This is the very first video I shot.
Which, by the way, everyone, the link to Mark's channel is going to be down in our description. You could go subscribe to it. It's Mark Bunker. It's got all the stuff you're talking about today. You've just been building this for a while.
Yeah.
It's really good stuff. All right, go ahead and play this, Alessi.
I think I know more than you in bigot. Well, if you would consider Scientology a religion, I
Oh my
suppose
God.
I might believe that, but unfortunately, it's a cult.
That dude don't even look real.
Ready to be an e-commerce
Yeah.
pioneer?
Ads.
Yeah, I got to give you my premium. Do skip. It's over there on the right. Yep. There we go.
You know, deep down inside, you're trying to harm something that is good and helps other people.
Well, deep
How
down
close?
inside, I'm trying to help you, is what I feel. Because you probably don't know all of what your church does and all of what your church believes.
I
For
know a lot
instance,
of what my church does, and it's mostly helping people, you know. So.
well, where are you on the bridge?
Oh, Mark, I'm not going to listen to
Well,
you.
where are you online?
Where I'm on the bridge.
Well, just, you're here. I'd always like to talk to Scientologists. I'm trying to get your side of the story.
Have you ever done anything in Scientology yourself?
I went in, I took the personality test,
You've never
and
done
I played with the e-meter.
Played with the e-meter.
Played with the e-meter. Well, the e-meter is kind of a toy. I mean, it's...
So you played with the e-meters.
Well-
In other words, you know nothing about what you're attacking.
I
know nothing about what you're attacking.
I think I know
You know nothing.
more than you in many respects. For instance, I know about OT3, where Hubbard wrote that 75
Homeless John Lennon's laugh is really bothering me.
Oh my God.
and Tegiak was ruled over by the evil overlord Xenu.
He's walking
Stuffed us
away.
all into volcanoes and blew us up, thus causing all of the problems
That guy's
we
just,
still
he is
suffer from today.
perturbed.
It's like, is this
Seems that all of those little invisible dead space cooties that were caused by the exploding volcano
For people just listening right now who aren't on
have
YouTube or
covered our bodies
Spotify
and
watching
are
this,
affecting us till today, so
go to
you
YouTube or
take time
Spotify to watch this.
to clear yourself. That's
And we'll
basically-
actually, I'm going to put the link to this down in the description so you can see this
You'll be
video
getting to
on
that
its own
OT3
too. You can
if
actually
you
just do
ever
that.
reach that level. Of course, it will cost you about $360,000.
All right, we got the point. Let's
Yeah, there
stop
you go.
that. But wow.
Yeah, and the other guy who stayed there, Dan Mernon, he stayed for like 20 minutes, and we were talking before he finally gave in. And Dan is still in and still believes.
Blonde guy with the goatee?
Yeah,
or
yeah,
homeless John Lennon.
yeah, not the guy who walked away. So Dan, I saw like 10 years later, Anonymous is out in L.A. And Dan Mernon pops up there, and he's saying the exact same things to them that he said to me, a decade earlier. And he still believes that. He's still in.
Do you know anything about his backstory?
His backstory?
Yeah,
No, I don't.
That'd be fascinating.
I don't know how fascinating. I mean,
Well,
it's just...
no, I'm saying like to do an autopsy of how someone gets that brainwashed.
Yeah.
Like where did they come from to be in a position to become that?
That's your basic Scientology position. I mean, once you get sucked in, you're supposed to be heading toward that. That's the goal of L. Ron Hubbard and Miscavige. They want you to believe anything that they say and nothing that the public says. And you have those blinders on, so you won't hear anything else that's said. At any rate, I mean, it's sad.
Thank you for watching the video, guys. If you haven't already subscribed, please smash that subscribe button and check out this clip's full podcast episode by clicking here or in the description below.